Hello everyone. I have probably the best news that I could ever share with you guys. If you look inside of the crafting terminal here, we have 15,000 sugarcane and 4,700 white fleece, which is nearly enough sugarcane and more than enough fleece to make all of the wool we are going to need to make our tier 4 and 5 isothermal suits. And that means that we are able to rush towards Neptune. Before then, though, we're going to need the tier 4 rocket to go to Jupiter, and Jupiter is known to have a problem with radiation. Before being able to go to Jupiter, though, we have one thing that we want to do, and that is going to be replacing our bonsai pots that usually grow sugarcane with oak saplings. Now, the reason behind this is because oak saplings produce apples when they're put inside of bonsai pots, and I need a lot of apples to make gapples, because what I want to do, right, is I want to go to Jupiter. But Jupiter's radiation is so strong that even with an on-tier spacesuit, you're going to eventually die to it, which is where the idea came from that I will tank it with golden apples. Of course, this isn't my idea to begin with, but I mean, it is a sound idea, and I just want to get this done, so that's what we're going to be doing. And so that means that I'm going to need a ton of gapples in order to survive on Jupiter. Supposedly, gapples give you enough regen to just fully out-heal the damage of radiation. And so now we're just gonna have to sit here and wait, hoping that we can produce about a stack of apples, which is what I want to bring. Now, while that's going, I think it's finally time that we build our tier 4 rocket, and that starts with scrapping the tier 3 rocket. Our tier 3 rocket gave us back 7 heavy-duty plates. We're gonna throw those in the storage and start working on our tier 4 rocket parts. First of all, nose cone. Second of all, engine, which I need a vent for. We're gonna craft 4 vents because I think I need 4 more rockets. We're also gonna do the same for flint and steel and buttons, just so that we don't have to do all this micro crafting in the future. Tier 4 engine, and then I need 2 of these tier 4 boosters, which need orange wool. Of course they do. All right, I guess it's time to find me some orange flowers. There goes 8 of the wool that I was saving for the suits. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to make more than the amount of wool I had, but I have enough fleece and I have enough sugarcane growing over there. I'm sure that one more batch is going to be more than plenty. Now, I almost did forget that they need filled fuel canisters, so let's throw those in. So if my math is correct, I'm going to need 400 palladium from Jupiter, and that is going to equal about 5 or 6 stacks, and that is quite a lot of palladium. And that's because I need 4 palladium for each. I need palladium for the tier 3 set. I need also palladium to make the plates. I need 5 per, so it's actually not 400, it's more like 450, or 500 actually. And 500 ores comes down to about 7 or 8 stacks, which is kind of insane. So we do need to pack quite a few gapples for this trip. Now, the next thing I'm making is a bunch of this thermal cloth. I need a whole bunch of it, and then we're going to grab our compressed carbon. Where is it? There we go. All of the thermal cloth we need. That's 4. Go ahead and slowly and painfully put together our suit using the unstackable thermal padding. Something else I'm making while I'm waiting is 3 extra heavy oxygen tanks so that I can survive for the long time I'm going to take on that planet. Anyways, let's take a look at this tier 4 rocket. Oh, I need a tier 2 launch pad, don't I? There you go, the launch pad is formed. I don't know how big the rocket is. It's pretty big, wow. And we're also going to be bringing an advanced energy cube to supply power to the fueler and our atomic disassembler for when we're on the trip. And so all that's left is to fill the remaining oxygen tanks, and then we'll be off. All right, our apples are also done, so now it's time to craft those into golden apples. We're going to have a stack of them. Hopefully that's going to be enough for our first trip. If it's not enough for our first trip, then I'm going to be incredibly mad. Also, I have to not forget to grab my spawner seeker. Anyways, enough stalling. We have everything we need. It is time. Our suit is on. There we go. It is time to make way for... Wow, there isn't even a window on this one. It's time to make way for Jupiter. Alrighty. This is incredibly stormy. Oh, and the gravity's pretty high. We're gonna immediately eat a gapple. I am fighting palladium, but it's in like really small veins. And fall damage seems to be amplified here, so I gotta be real careful when I jump up and down in places. Got enough palladium, that means it's time to check out the surface and start searching for dungeons. Now, I haven't been affected by radiation yet. I'm assuming maybe the tier 2 spacesuit is actually capable of surviving radiation. But what I do know is it is kind of going to be a pain to find the dungeons out here because of, you know, the magma seas. You know, I'm thinking maybe I should just call it quits here, go make a scamulator back at base and get my blueprints there because, frankly, These dungeons are starting to get annoying. Oh, hold on. We got a detection. Okay, never mind. We got a dungeon. And it's starting to become day, so I might actually be able to do it. Please don't tell me it's across the lava lake. It's across the lava lake. Alright, see on my map. Hold on. If I switch back to cave layer, see, we've got Jupiter dungeon blocks. I don't know if it's like fully surrounded by lava or something. Alright, the dungeon does not have magma in its roof, okay. Go ahead and clear up some inventory space before moving forward. I believe we have enough palladium and enough tin to last us until the end of the pack. Okay, this is a big room. I have a feeling that I might take fall damage. Let's make a backup of the world right now. It's a oh my god, this is the okay, it's the creeper boss, but again, oh god, the glowstone on the roof isn't actually like resistant to the oh god, we are okay. I have a feeling I'm gonna be here for a while, so I'm gonna go ahead and talk to you guys once this guy is dead. Okay, we've put more magma in the arena, and it's... Oh, the boss is in the magma! Ooh, hold on. This might actually be fire. Oh my god! The magma doesn't burn the key! Oh my god! Yes! Okay. I need something to help me get through the magma that's blocking the exit door. And there you have it. Tier 5 dungeon key, Tier 5 rocket. I'm seeing more cheese. That's enough for, like... one scamulator recipe. Alrighty, let's get out of this dungeon, get off this planet, make our rocket, and do the next one. Sweet, please end this. We're back with all of the ores that we now need to wait to process. Anyways, the tin ore is going to be stored for later use, and the palladium needs to be smelted now, so that's going to take a little bit, and I'll be back with you guys once we're done making all of our tier 5 plates. All of our palladium's done, so now I'm going to go ahead and commandeer the electric compressor once again so I can make my tier 3 spacesuit. Alright, now that we have our armor layers, we can go ahead and yoink from this thing, because now we're crafting our tier 3 spacesuit. Alright, let's equip the tier 3 spacesuit. We've got the boots are still charging, and we still need to make a little bit more palladium. But until then, I have one fun little detour that we have to go to. Can you believe it, guys? A detour to the Between Lands. It's just ridiculous. Can't believe I have to go all the way to the Between Lands on a Saturday. All the way to work! Okay, detour complete. Okay, now I need string, which I don't have anymore, so we're just gonna grab cotton seeds and bone meal, and we're just gonna make it into string. Alright, there we go. That should be enough string. So now if I go string and gold, I can make 4 silk cloths, and if I grab my cloth and I grab the middle gems that I most definitely grabbed, yes I did, I can make a silk jewel, and then we're gonna make a pickaxe out of something, I don't know. You know what, we're gonna make it fully out of manulin, because why not? I should get true comboed by my power wires. Alrighty, there we go. Insatiable and cold blood. I just realized, yeah, my tool forge is right here. Anyways, manulin pickaxe. Let's add silk, let's add diamond, and let's add emerald. There we go. This is gonna be my silk touch pickaxe, and we're gonna use it to collect slime ore on that. That sounds weird. Collecting slime ore on Saturn. Alright, we should have enough plates to make our next rockets. Let's go ahead and chuck all of that in there. And then also turn the rest of our palladium into plates. Never mind, the thing's still full, because we do need a lot of spare plates to make our rocket. Alrighty, tier 5 nose cone, tier 5 engine, and then 4 of these tier 5 fins, and then we need blue wool to make our boosters this time around. And I also need palladium plates for this. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and grab 8 of these. What we can do now is hope and pray that we actually do have enough plates to finish off the pack, is if we don't, I am going to be incredibly angry. Anyways, it's time to craft the rocket, so let's go ahead. Throw in tier 5 plates, tier 5 fins, tier 5 boosters, tier 5 engine and cone. Bam, tier 5 rocket. And we still only require a tier 2 launch pad, so let's go ahead and grab that, grab our loader, grab some batteries for the loader, and set up our launch pad. Alrighty, let's decide to leave off for Saturn and grab as much magnesium as we need, which is going to be, I believe, we're gonna grab like 5 stacks of the ore. We just need enough we're gonna grab as much as we can. Alright, let's see it. This place is looking pretty nuclear. Okay, so there's patches of slime here. These are actual slime blocks. Ah, that's a nuclear bomb. You know what? I'm not touching that. I'm getting away from that. Oh, hold on. There we go. There's some of that slime ore. We need the slime ore intact, though. I don't know how much we're going to need, so I'm going to grab as much as I can. Oh, we've got a dungeon on our hands. and it's pretty far northwest. I think this is the dungeon entrance, and I missed it the first time around. Yeah, this is most definitely the dungeon entrance. All right, boss time, and it's another boss that you reflect at. Oh wow, wait, actually, hold on. The gravity on Saturn is so strong that I can just walk up to him. All right, there we go. Get rid of the fire. Watch him spin up, make a violent and loud sound, explode, give me the key, and let's go. All right, we got our schematic. Now I am going to just kind of dig into the floor and look for the magnesium ore that we need from here. All right, that should be more than enough magnesium to carry me to my final rocket tier. And now it is time to leave Saturn, head back to base, and start working on our next project. I don't look funny carrying this giant rocket on my head. And we are about to be out. And I haven't even swapped any oxygen tanks. This is my first one. All right, back to the overworld. And we're in the middle of the ocean again. Home sweet, I want to go home. We are here, and now we have basically everything we need to continue to the next stage of the pack. Well, not really. I do need to go to Uranus and Neptune to grab some stuff, but I mean, before then, we've got another little section of stuff that we can set up. But before then, I do have to go ahead and smelt the magnesium I found. Now, I think it's time we finally take a break from the laborious process of going to each island and doing each dungeon. Not even island, going to each planet and doing each dungeon. And now it's time to start preparing some infrastructure for our final stretch. At the same time, I've realized that this machine is literally just a glorified version of the electric compressor itself that I need to craft it. So the only thing I'm losing with the electric compressor is the fact that it can't do mass recipes, which isn't a real problem, like, at all. And so since magnesium ingots themselves are kind of useless, we're going to go ahead and throw them into the electric compressor here. And we're going to have to throw them in, 2 stacks at a time. There is also the issue of the limited input, but it is still a pretty strong machine. Now, back to what I was saying about infrastructure. We are going to need a lot more iron for this, which I think we are pretty low on. No, we have enough. We have plenty of iron, actually. Now, the infrastructure in question starts with this absolutely hideously long and hideous platform that I've made out of meteoric iron and dash because I'm just that rich, and a stack of garden cloches, which I'm currently in the process of crafting. And for garden cloches, I'm going to need a bunch of components, and all the other ingredients have been prepared ahead of time. And now watch as I craft a stack of garden cloches. There we go. Isn't this beautiful? All right, we're going to need a stack of cables and a little bit more to connect it to the base, and then we're also going to need pipes to connect it to the water, which costs a bucket each. Jesus. All right, the pump is connected. We're just gonna have to add water to it and add pipes, which I do not have. There we go. This thing is producing water. I hope it's enough. It's gonna take a while for like the whole setup to spin up, but I think it's gonna be fine overall. Fluid pipes over here. Yep, let's take this one because we're not using this setup anyways. And yep, the water is slowly filling into the machines. It'll take a while, but I'm pretty sure that we're gonna eventually have, once all of these things are filled. This looks crazy to look at. And so next up, in order to actually use these things, I'm going to need inferium seeds, okay? Tier 1 inferium seeds. It's 8 inferium essence, and the way you get inferium essence is by atomic reconstructing from actually additions a piece of Saturn slime ore. So that's why I wanted the Saturn slime, is to make inferium essence, and I only needed 8 to make the seeds, which can infinitely produce the essence. Now, how do we make an atomic reconstructor? Yeah, I'm not doing that today.